I'm entering a tournament with only the Legend of Zelda characters, which are 6 characters in total. And to make it more interesting, the characters for each and every set are decided by chance. That's right, I'm leaving it to RNG, and depending on my luck, or unluck as you all know, the sets will either become easier or harder for me. Now the only question is, what would happen if I get, for example, Toon Link as my random character and finish playing a set? Should we get Toon Link in again then, when the set is over? Or is he blocked for the entire tournament? Or is he blocked for one set? That we don't get the same character twice in a row. Because if I go up here and put random again, then the chances are actually pretty high that I get Toon Link again. Holy shit! I told you! Okay, everybody now says blocked for one set.
You wouldn't get him 3 times.
Don't underestimate my power. Don't underestimate my power! Now that we've decided that the character is blocked for one set, we can go over the tournament details. Just like in the Link video, the tournament of choice is TNJ Tuesday number 15 with 33 attendees. Because I had a first seed, I had to wait for the set between Futuristic Ninja and Sisu, which Ninja won 2-1 over Sisu. Before starting the set against Futuristic Ninja, we had to spin the wheel to decide our first character of the tournament. And RNG decided to start from the very bottom with Ganondorf. That's a good start. I'd rather have Ganon now than later. Winners round 2 against Futuristic Ninja. This set is a best of 3 and we decided to go on Battlefield as our first stage, and I was already feeling myself a bit too much as Ganon and tried my typical shenanigans as always. While the up tilt didn't hit, it didn't stop me from pushing my advantage and taking an early lead in this game 1. Ooh! That's the stock, nice. But to be fair, we're still talking about Ganondorf being Ganondorf. He can take stock super early with a few moves, and his advantage is not necessarily bad. But his neutral, the mobility and disadvantage suck. And Futuristic Ninja was able to answer back quickly. When playing Ganon, I think it is really important to keep things slowly and not overextend too much. One wrong move can keep you in disadvantage forever. So my game plan was more about looking out for mistakes and pushing advantage. And I was honestly glad that I got Ike as an opponent, who is also on the slower side. This really helped me to keep up with Ganon and win the first game. Nope, you can't make it. Okay. Game 2, Ninja switched to Little Mac and chose Final Destination as their stage. Now you might ask why Final Destination was open. Well, the answer is pretty simple. I thought Ninja was staying Ike, and Star GG has a bit of a bug when it comes to choosing characters first. You cannot see the character switch until it is too late. Usually I always ask beforehand, but this was just my bad and I think my opponent didn't think about it as well. Yeah, please fix this Star GG staff, thank you. While saying all of this stuff, you can see that I already got a huge lead going as Ganon, and I was still feeling pretty confident against Little Mac, even on Final Destination. It was more of a matter for me to not get hit by KO Punch and to stay in center stage as much as possible. And suddenly I was 2 stocks ahead, and then something insane happened. I just let the clip play. Oh god! Holy fuck! In a tournament! My tournament career just peaked. It can't go up anymore. I tried to hit this exact footstool setup so often in Elite Smash, and I never got it. And now I finally hit it in a tournament out of all places? What an insane ending to a set. GG's to Futuristic Ninja. First of all, I need to calm down. That was insane. And we need to pick the next character. Now let's get back to the slot machine. I just played as Ganondorf, so he was blocked for one set. And the character for the next set was Toon Link, which is a pretty good pick for me. Winners round 3 against Viego. We're still in best of 3 territory and game 1 started on Town and City. I love this stage as Toon Link because my main kill moves for this character are forward air, up special and F smash, which all kill off the side. Of course up smash and up air are good kill moves too, but it was way easier to confirm a boomerang or bomb into his forward air than any other confirm. When playing against Bayonetta, I usually watch out for the following move: side special. And to avoid this, you have to stay grounded very often. Aerial side special comes out lightning fast and impossible to react, so if you jump you might get caught and eat 60% for just one jump. But the other thing I have to watch out for as Toon Link is my boomerang, when it is returning because of witch time. It can be a very tough move to avoid while simultaneously using projectiles. However, the match overall was the majority of the time in my favor and I took game 1 with a 2 stock. Game 2, Viego decided to go on Smashville, and I'll be completely honest with you here. I have not a single clue how good this stage is for Bayonetta. I know that Bayonetta usually likes floaty characters because it is easier for her to kill off the top, and Toon Link definitely falls into this category. But personally, I like to play on Smashville as Toon Link, and as long as I can avoid the burst options of Bayonetta, I am good to go. And that's exactly what I did in this game. And the entire set. Avoid side special, throw projectiles, don't jump too often, and stay grounded. And this game plan helped me to win this set with a JB3. GG's to Viego. Toon Link is now blocked for one set and Ganon is back in again. But it doesn't mean that I get Ganon, because the next character to play was Sheik, who I practiced just a week ago to prepare for this tournament run in case I get her. By the way, is that just me, or am I playing way better in tournament when I switch around characters? Winners quarter against Selim. This is another best of 3 set and we were starting on small battlefield, which is a pretty neutral stage for both of us. Sheik is all about playing as evasive as possible to not get hit yourself, and open up a path to get a neutral win against your opponent. It can be pretty tough to play against Sheik as a slow character like Byleth because of the speed contrast, but therefore Byleth hits like a truck and only needs a few moments to take my stock. Sheik is a character who is not allowed to make many mistakes and requires you to play perfect all the time, otherwise you're getting hard punished. This game 1 was definitely no joke, and Selim used his range advantage as Byleth very well against my Sheik, and it was super close until the very end, but I was able to close it out with one final bouncing fish. Alright, game 1 done. Game 2, Selim ran it back on small battlefield and I can tell you this much already. The adaptation of him was insane. I had such a hard time getting in and Selim used his range so well on the first stock and got quickly into a lead and was only on 82% when I lost it. And Sheik, the character she is, can sometimes struggle to get a stock. But in this case, it was not about struggling to find the stock. It was about struggling to actually get a neutral win and get a hit in. Because Selim was just tearing me apart and got a huge 0 to death, which led him into a 2-stock lead. Now, I got a character who struggles to find a kill versus a character who can just murder other fighters in an instant. Sheik is definitely not a comeback character by any means, but 1 stock is definitely a start. The game basically just started 2 minutes ago and we still had 5 minutes to go. I thought to myself, I can take it slowly and just wait and create opportunities to rack up more damage and percent. Theoretically, if I only take 50 to 60% per stock, it is doable. There's some leeway, but it is not an easy task, and needless to say, or let's rather say, needle to say, I got a relatively early stock with a needle gimp. Okay, come back. And the victory was in sight again. It only took a few more Sheik combos and the game was even again. And what was once a losing game where victory was almost out of sight turned suddenly into a game 2 which only needed 1 more hit to decide the winner of this match. GG's to Selim. Oh, what a comeback! Whew. Still didn't drop a game. Can't say much about that. Very, very good Byleth. I got almost dragged on the second game. Sheik was blocked for the next set and Toon Link got back in again. And wouldn't you know it, I actually got Toon Link and headed right into my next set. Winner semi against Field Warrior. From now on, every set is a best of 5. Field Warrior plays Sonic and Villager, but for the first game, he decided to go on Sonic and the stage of choice was Small Battlefield. I want to say right away, if I got Ganon through luck against Sonic, this would have been a disaster. Doable, but horrible. Toon Link on the other hand is exactly what I wanted. Or let's rather say any Link for this matter. Because if I have to, I'm just gonna play the camping game with the Links and this is exactly what I want to do against Sonic. It also doesn't matter for me how long it takes to finish off a stock. All that matters is that I won't get hit by Sonic's spin dash shenanigans. I'd rather stop approaches with my projectiles and use them from afar to slowly deal more damage, and this strategy worked out pretty well for me. The first game was a solid 3 stock on my part and Field Warrior was not able to make a comeback. But you know what I said earlier? They have another character in the pocket as well. Switching from Sonic to Villager, Field Warrior picked Small Battlefield as a counterpick stage. Personally, I think this is one of those perfect opportunities to try out a character switch. You got 3 stocked in the first game on one character, and it is a best of 5 after all. So why not try it out for game 2 at least? If it works, you found the answer, and if it doesn't work, there's still game 3 to bring it all around. And the character switch definitely worked better already. Also check out this funny interaction. It's not that I forgot, it's just I didn't think I would trigger that. Overall, Field Warrior did a way better job in this game too, but it just wasn't enough to bring down my Toon Link, and we went into game 3. Game 3, Field Warrior switched back to Sonic, and this time we went on Pokemon Stadium 2. The character switch is also understandable here. The Villager didn't really work out and got 2 stock, which is better than a 3 stock. But maybe Field Warrior found something out through the Villager play, which helped his Sonic to overcome my Toon Link. And I could definitely see it because this game was already much closer than both previous games and we found ourselves both on 2 stocks. Until this happened. A self-destruct always sucks and can take the momentum out of somebody, and this is not the way how you want a set to go. But as a competitor, I have to capitalize off of that and push my advantage further to take a bigger lead. After all, we are human and everybody makes mistakes here and there, and unfortunately this mistake was too much and I was able to close out game 3 and win the set. I think if the SD would not have happened, this could have been very close. GG's to Field Warrior. I know how to play against Sonic. I think Toon Link was one of the better characters to get against Sonic. With Ganon it would have sucked ass, with Zelda kinda. I think honestly Toon Link was the best character for me against Sonic. I have not dropped a single game so far. We are already in Winners Final, one of the hardest phases in the tournament, and one of my best characters is out for the next set. But what if I get an even better character? Sometimes I get lucky as well. Winners Final against Akon. Game 1 we went on Battlefield and I already started off pretty huge with a great combo. This whole matchup is in my opinion relatively even between Link and Joker. Even if Joker gets Ascent, it is very doable and this is all thanks to Link's range and projectiles. If Joker is in base form, I can play a more offensive game with my aerials, and when Ascent is here, I can keep it pretty defensive and slowly get rid of Ascent. Also the edgeguard game against Joker is pretty good with Link. If I wouldn't mess it up, of course. As you can see, the match was already in my favor, while Akon only had 1 stock left. And it was too much to overcome, and I finished game 1 with a 2-stock lead. I would have gotten that footstool 100% if it wasn't for Zen. Game 2 Akon decided to go on Pokemon Stadium 2, and it started off in a very funny way where we both lost our stock in an offstage scenario. We basically started the game like it was Smash 4. This game was way closer than the previous one already, and Akon did a good job at adapting. But remember what I said in the game before? Link's edgeguarding game is pretty nice against Joker, and this is all thanks to his remote bomb. And I found myself in a good lead. Akon brought it back though, and we both ended up on our last stock. But upon coming back from the Angel platform, I hit a nasty bomb setup that got the Joker player into a bad position, and I was able to finish game 2. Game 3 Akon went back to Pokemon Stadium 2 again. I'll be real here and say that there is not really a stage where any character has a huge advantage over the other. Link is pretty much a jack of all trades and can play on almost any stage. I think the only stage I really do not want to go on is Yoshi's Story, and I always ban it while all the other stages depend either on personal preference or my opponent's character. The start of this game looked like it is going into Akon's favor, but I was able to bring it back and take the stock as well. And then I used a trick I haven't used so far, which is the remote bomb 2-frame spike. Well, I didn't hit the spike nor the 2-frame, but the plan worked kinda out in my favor, so we take that. And with that, I turned around the whole game in my favor, and Akon had to overcome this deficit to stay in the set and not drop into losers. I was only 1 game away from moving into Grand Finals and a guaranteed top 2 spot, and it didn't take long to find the final F-tilt and finish game 3. GG's to Akon. But honestly, I think this matchup is pretty okay. I think it's pretty even between those two, like Joker and Link. I like this matchup. Now I was in Grand Finals and only 1 set away from winning the tournament. But Link was banned for the set, and Akon won their set in Losers Final. So I had to fight the Joker again. I needed a character who can keep up with Joker's speed and keep him away if possible. And Zelda is definitely not that character. But let's see if I can do it. Grand Final against Akon. Game 1 we decided to go on small battlefield and the game started out as a relatively even game until Akon was trying too hard to edgeguard me and lost the stock for it. But it didn't take too long to get back into an even match with a good fair 1 catch to take my stock. This match was getting as even as it can get, and it was just a matter of time who takes the first stock, and Akon was the one to do it on our second stock. Which means now it is my turn to answer back and take them to the last stock. Or so I thought until Akon got me into an offstage scenario, but unlike the time before, this time they got it and I lost my first game in this entire tournament. Game 2 I picked Pokemon Stadium 2 and I immediately knew what my problem was in overcoming Joker. But the problem was harder to fix than I thought, and this problem was unfortunately my character's speed. While the first game was very even, the second game turned quickly out to be completely in Akon's favor. Not only did I lose my first stock before them, but also my second stock, and I was still fighting to take Akon's first stock. It took me an entire 3 minutes to take the Joker player's stock, and I already had 72% on Zelda, and it seemed like I was almost about to lose. Well, it seemed like that because I was really about to lose. This is tough. I don't know what to do with Zelda here. Game 3 I thought let's switch it up again and go on Battlefield. Maybe I can get some platform extensions or use the platforms to my advantage as a new tool for movement. Also, one thing I want to point out is during Game 1 and also Game 2 you might have noticed that there was one specific thing Zelda players like to use that I didn't use so far, which is the Phantom. I really struggled to use one of Zelda's best moves because I was not sure how I can use it in this matchup. I felt like either I charge Joker's Ascend meter or the Phantom gets reflected. So I didn't want to use the fully charged version and only used it sparingly. I know it is one of Zelda's best moves, but against a counter that charges? Man, that's rough for me. I would really like to hype up this game somehow, but I got completely cooked again and couldn't keep up with Aiken's speed, and they were able to force a bracket reset. Nah, didn't know what to do in this matchup. Which means we have to roll again. But you all know what that means. I'm allowed to pick a new character now and the tables might turn completely around. Zelda is banned and I don't have to go through this awful matchup again, and the character choices for me are amazing. I got Sheik, who can keep up with Joker's speed, uses projectiles to keep Ascend Joker at bay and can edgeguard them as well. I got Young Link with his insane combo and projectile game, and I have never played Young Link in this tournament so far. There's Toon Link, who proved to be in top form today with his 2 set wins and is low-key better than my Link today. And then there is my main Link, who already defeated Aiken 3-0 in winners finals, and I know I can do it again. And then there's Ganon. That's rough, buddy. I can make it. I'm dead. Random betrayed me at the very end with Ganon. But it is how it is sometimes, you know? Well, GG's to Aiken. There were some fun sets. You have an amazing Joker. Thank you so much for watching. The random Zelda tournament run ends at a 2nd place, which is in my opinion pretty good. Ganon had a hype clip. Sheik got an insane comeback, Link and Toon Link were clean as always, Zelda got cooked, and Young Link was asleep. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe. I'll see you all next time, bye bye.